Morena tātou, ngā mihi nui ki a koutou I tēnei ata. Nice to have some people at our public forum this morning, and welcome to those people online. We'll start this morning with a karakia. Mēnoi tātou, hauhihiri, haurarama, hau o te whakairo, hau o te tangata, hau o te aha, te pau e here nei I a tātou, mauri ora ki a tātou, haumie, whie, tāu. Kia ora everybody. Welcome again to our public forum and to people who are online. Special welcome to Councillor Babe Kapa, who is here because Councillor Vucic is attending another function in Kaikohe. We'll start this morning with guests from our public forum. So our first speaker from public forum is Linda Bracken, who's here to talk about tagging and recreation road planters. Hello. Kia ora, Linda.
Kia ora. Yep, just trying to keep it brief. We've had an incredible few days of fine weather. So the Wipeout team, the van that we've talked about, that's now available to go around town. I think Mike has some figures of the amount of tagging we've removed over the last 3 days within the Kaikohe area. So we basically started on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and did a bit of repeat area there. So Mike, how many photos can you remember?
It was 210 photos, which means 105 assets around town.
So those are ones that Vanessa takes. I took another probably 40 we're doing before and after. We've hit the main areas. We've got the big building tags, and rather than do little patches where it's available, we're trying to do a big area. Talking to some of the businesses and clearing up some of those, and they're looking at getting paint jobs done later on, but trying to just be proud of our town. And get a bit of a change in the thinking there. Obviously, we're using volunteers, volunteer time, and volunteer paint. So we, something to discuss further down the track. We've had one area that was beautifully painted on Saturday, re-tagged on Monday night. So yesterday we removed the tag. So we're trying to get that message, we don't want to accept that. So just that, know something out there is happening, trying to say to the people and even the little kids that are coming alongside, I'll give them a roller and go, yeah, have a go. Now you make sure you watch that little spot, and if anybody touches it or tags it. So education is a big part in the future for keeping our area clean. And who knows, because we've got a van that can travel, we may be able to look in the future of maybe doing a day in a different area and helping out in other areas there. So just letting you know something is happening out in the community. Recreation Road, in the planning to try visual blockage to slow down that traffic through that whole Recreation Road area. Just a quick on tagging on the fence along there, there would have been at least 10 tags on that one fence that have gone. But part of the traffic slowing was they put in these planter boxes. They're now way past their use by date. One of the questions I asked myself when they first put them in is they blocked the council trucks from actually access to the side of the road to sweep the rubbish away, so it would have been blocked drains and that further down the track. Just flagging it as maybe we need some discussion around that. I've talked to Esther about what we can do there, but some discussion on how we can distribute them fairly or get them removed. We might need some funding around looking at doing it safely, so road closure, road management. So just flagging those things. Apart from that, going well in town. I said to Babe, quite excited looking at a library move, business hub, but realising that we're losing our clothing shop on the corner there at basically the end of the month. So people have been utilising that recycled clothing for a long period of time, but at the end of the day, you've still got to be making a profit. So yeah, thank you for your time.
Kia ora.
Any questions? Good.
Yes, Linda, question please from me, just around the CCTV camera
Yes.
in town. Is that doing any
It's,
good?
it's tracking slowly. The taggers are aware of it, so people go, they haven't tagged, and I'll look at where the angle of the cameras are, and they're actually aware of where the cameras are and tagging just outside of the vision there, but the new guys in town don't know. So,
So are we catching any of the taggers?
we haven't captured the taggers, the new taggers. It's more for the other violence in town and catching the road traffic. So I'd love to sit down and be able to give you some feedback and some data on that, but it's working with, again, an underfunded police thing there, but keeping on track of that. We've got a camera to monitor the Memorial Park, the new area there, because I understand there's a little bit of tagging occurring there, and, you know, hopefully be able to catch that.
Thanks, Linda, that's awesome, and I like the idea of going out to other areas as well, because, yeah, they're suffering as well.
I'll email you, Linda, but just with questions around how you make CCTV work, because we're trying to get it in our areas, and so far I've sort of been told it's difficult, so I'll catch up with you about how
it's tagging in with Simon, so maybe if you're free and the next time we have a meeting, I could invite you along.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jessica.
Bye-bye. Okay, our next speaker is Ross Killen. Ross is here to talk to us about new dog kennels, bikes on the main street and rubbish. Kia ora, Ross.
Ross Killen from in behind the Kaikohe Airport down here. It's our 113th year down there, so been down there a while. With the dog kennels, from what I can gather, 2.4 million just for 10 dogs, which are all going to be put down at the end of the day. So just a total waste of money. There was no discussion prior to it going in from buying it from the Tansies. And at the moment, with the council vehicles going down there, there's just a massive speed, they're speeding in a mass of dust going over all our houses down there, 6 or so. My place next door to sheep farm there, and one of these days someone's bound to break in. We've already shot way over 400 dogs over the years, and that's just a minute percentage of the number of hits of thousands of sheep losses. Only 3 dogs were collars, 1 registered. And then kids up and down the main street on the footpath, there were 3 up and down yesterday on motorbikes doing wheel stands, even passing on the inside of the, people drivers going up the street, no helmets, doing wheel stands, as I say. I was sort of wondering about the Maori Warden side of it, seeing there's no police response. And then also recycling bins in town. I see they've got them across in Yuppie land over there, Kiri. Particularly, one in the Kaikohe Bakehouse there, for general rubbish, the plastic and then glass as well. Whether we can do anything about vaping shops, about 3 in town. And there's a mass of rubbish being dumped down our road. I get the council to come in to pick it up when there's a bulk lot dropped off, but scattered stuff they don't do, and I'm just constantly picking up bottles and general rubbish. Down there it has got worse since the Richard cycle track's gone in off the railway. So yeah, that's about it, thanks.
Okay, thanks, Ross. Any questions for Ross?
Thanks for bringing that to us.
Kia ora, Ross. Yeah, none of what you've talked about is unfamiliar to us.
Yeah.
And we'll do as much as we possibly can to try and make things better. Okay, moving on to, where are we? Speakers? Where are they? The speakers for our funding applications today. We have, first up from Otawa Marae, Anita Warren. Kia ora, Anita.
Kia ora.
Can I just remind you, you've got 5 minutes to kōrero, and then we may have some questions for you following that. So I'll give you a 1 minute if you're looking like you're going hunting.
Okay. I've got this for notes, so it's not, I'm not checking my messages or anything. My name's Anita. I'm here to speak about our application for our funding for our double netball courts for the Otawa Sports Club. The reason why we want to get this up and running is for our community and wider community of Hokianga to bring back sports to the club and to awhi everyone else to just move around. It's also for tamariki to have safe and pro-social environment to train. It's also closer for whānau to travel due to the cost of living at the moment. It minimises costs for whānau to travel elsewhere. This will also bring foot traffic to the valley and help us to maintain our club. At the moment, our incorporated society has dissolved in May this year, but we're looking into it to get it re-registered. I've applied with you guys and Foundation North. Foundation North has put ours on hold for 25k due to the society, incorporated society, but they said they have got that on hold. Once they're re-registered, they'll bring it back up again. I've spoken to A.M. Morris from DIA in Kaitaia. She has advised me to apply for the second round in October and January due to the incorporated society. They are two separate applications. One is for the courts for 50 plus, and the other application is for amenities for the club to get the canteen and stuff renewed. At the moment, we've got sources in Otawa to help us to do our club up, which is our rugby club. So we've got some farmers that are going to help us to do our rugby field this month, and hopefully we'll have it all ready for rugby next year. We will have it ready for rugby next year. At the moment, in this 2 weeks, we've actually brought a whole lot of sponsors on for the club, which is our Kaikohe Discounter, Kaikohe New World, Tony's Butchers, Mount Pōkaka, and Off the Hook Fish and Chips in Perth. They're going to help us with prizes for raffles. They're also kohang money to the club per year as well, so that'll help us a lot. At the moment, we're also bringing in events, which is Easter for the tamariki and Halloween when that comes around. We're doing raffles, Braddon's Up, Housey as well. We've also got a 3-year strategy plan to help us to get our club fully maintained by the end of 3 years, and we've got points of for every year. And we're also at the moment looking at getting merchandise for the Otawa Sports Club, because people are asking if we can get some jumpers sent in, so we're getting that all done from Hayes Kupa. He's going to do some designs for us. And yeah, we've got a big plan for our Otawa Sports Club. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Anita.
No worries.
And just a big mihi to you for the mahi that you fellas are doing out in Otawa.
Yeah.
Really, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, your strategic plan is awesome. I've had a look at that. Just good to have some planning underway. Any kōrero pātai from anybody around the table?
Well, I have a comment to say, well, didn't you just get on it? So, member McVeigh, myself and Councillor Rakena met with the whānau over in Otawa, and well, you guys are just rolling along. Mahi kia koutou, kia kōrua mō koutou mahi, ai, aha, mahi.
Cool. Keep going. Keep going.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we have a representative from Otawa Sports Club, Georgina.
But that was it.
Same.
Yeah, we're not the we're
Sports Club,
yeah,
not
yeah.
marae. The
Not
marae.
marae.
Kapai. That's clarified there. Awesome. So our next speaker is Shane Watts from who put an application in we may remember last meeting and we left it to lie, so Shane's here to talk to his application today for recording of music, funding application. Kia ora, Shane.
Kia ora, kia ora. All right, so I suffer quite badly from anxiety, so just excuse me if I'm a little nervous.
You're welcome to sit down.
So I've just written that out. Hello, my name is Shane Watts, and I have fought the demon meth. It put me through a lot of challenges. My welfare upbringing left me with no sense of attachment or belonging, and meth was there for me 24/7. I watched a dear friend lose her life. She has been gone now for 25 years. After this, I wrote a song called The Kraken. Once I started writing songs, the words just came flooding out. Lyrics were formed, and now I have a repertoire of 20 plus songs. My songs have been therapy for myself. The songs have helped the suffering from the traumas that were caused in welfare and became an addiction on meth through helplessness and hopelessness. I felt, and I know the story in my songs would help other sufferers as they have helped me. As you know, music is a very powerful medium. But I need financial assistance, hence my own application. I am currently on the disability benefit with WINS, so I'm struggling to make ends meet, let alone be able to help others. I live in Mataroa, Kaikohe, and I have no affiliation with any gangs. I am receiving some support from the Invite Only record company, Anzac Road Recording Studio, whose representative Steve is here as an executive producer, and this is my manager, and they're actually volunteering their time to help me in this journey because they believe in it. With mentoring, coaching and marketing in general. And Whakaoranga Kaikohe have already helped me financially to get this single started and get it to its first recording. As they see the value in my work, a percentage of the royalties from my first single will go to help the families of sufferers of meth, as we need to heal the whole unit instead of just one person. I would also like to uplift the image of Kaikohe to give back to this community that has supported me along my healing journey since living in Kaikohe for almost 6 years. And any questions? Thank you.
Kia ora, Shane, thank you. Any questions for Shane? I know Matua Babe, you were deputy total for Shane.
Councillor Vucic and I met with Shane probably a month ago, and we listened to his proposal, and we felt that there are a number of programs, both physical and also the mental, and this is another approach which is around music. Shane provides a rap style of waiata that he's trying to produce at the moment that hopefully would resonate with some of the meth dealers. Both Councillor Vucic and I are supporting Shane in this development. And we're pleased that we've got professional support from the record companies to actually produce. So Shane is the one unit. He has all the scripts and everything in his head, and what, as he said, it's just streaming out at the moment, and there's hope that through that it further repairs Shane as well, but also his songs will, as he said, support those sufferers, but also their families as well, to understand that meth is and we know that this is another form of therapy that will be provided in Kaikohe. And he talks lightly about Kaikohe because as he talked about his early stage of welfare, he basically the traumas that he had as a child were from the Kaikohe area as well. So he's come back to repair that whole area as well.
Full circle.
Kia ora. Member McVeigh?
I'm mihi ki a koe, Shane. I'm very brave of you to share your kōrero and your story. I'm really happy that I see you've got some support from an organisation that can help you.
Yeah.
I just wondered, you mentioned, and in your application you mentioned about sharing out royalties to whānau, and I just wondered, I think it's a beautiful sentiment, but I just wondered how that, like how you might choose, and if you're going to, like if we're giving our kutia to support this project, I'm just wondering if it's you that's going to record it and report back, or how that sort of ties in to show where things have gone and
Yeah.
if
So I think
Yeah.
key thing is transparency. So I guess we'll open up a fund type thing. It's just that like if your loved one is in a rehab in Kaitaia and the family is in Christchurch, that distance may as well be the other side of the world, and it's that distance that can leave the person not healed at the end of the rehab, so they revert back. But if we can get that, even just travel money or something, accommodation, so that the family can come up and the loved one feels connected, it will make the healing a lot stronger and a longer term effect if we can do it. So I'm not trying to build houses or anything like that, but travel money, food money, just any way that we can help the family come and be with their loved one in the first 2 to 3 weeks, which is the most important time for the healing.
and you can easily keep a track of that.
Absolutely, transparent, like I said, for the community, for the council, all the bank records be just books are open, and we do have an agreement that there'll be a 3-person signature, so that not one person can, have access to the money. That all 3 people have to sign off on it as it has been discussed, between the 3 people. Yes, this is a good idea. What do we do?
Did you bring your guitar, your waiata for us this morning?
I have got it.
Oh. Go on then.
Okay, so my computer exercise is probably worse than my spelling.
Got a couple of backup singers there.
Let's go. Bear with me, sorry.
It's all right. If someone put me on the spot, I'd be out the door. So please, we're still here.
Well, I'm actually going up the mountain next weekend to run a charity box for Linda that sadly lost her life lately, and to get me over my anxiety singing in front of people, so it's going to be quite nerve-wracking.
You don't have to look at us when you're singing. You can turn and face the wall if you would like.
No.
Or you can just decline.
Okay, so this is not very loud, because it hasn't been finished. This is the first part of the Kraken song.
Very cool, Shane. That's definitely you.
So cool.
Yeah. Bit of a Jimi Hendrix sound, I reckon. Very cool.
Thank you very much for your time, people.
Thank you, thank you.
Cool. If you don't mind, I mean,
Yes,
exit
that's fine.
stage
Yes, yes, that's fine. Okay.
okay.
Okay, moving into our full part of our meeting. So, can I call for any apologies for today's meeting?
John Mueller.
That's right. Councillor Busich. Any further apologies? You're free to leave at any time, people in the public forum. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay.
Or you
Thank
can,
you.
or you can stay and watch.
Okay, so we've got apologies. So our previous minutes. Recommendation is that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board confirms the minutes of the meeting held 5th of July 2023 are true and correct record. Do I have a mover for that? Thank you, Member McVeigh, and a seconder. Thank you, Member Felia. All those in favour? Aye. Any against? Any abstentions? Okay, thank you. Reports. Our first report's on page 16. And that's Chairperson and Members Report. So the recommendation is that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board note the July 2023 reports from Chairperson Chicky Rudkin and Member Trinity Edwards, Deputy Chairperson Tanya Felia and Member Jessie McVeigh. I have a mover for that recommendation. Thank you, Member Gundry, and a seconder, please. Thank you, Member McVeigh. All those in favour? Aye. Any against? Any abstentions? Thank you. Do you have any discussion around reports? Nope. Okay, moving on to page 25. The road renaming. The recommendation is that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board, pursuant to Council's naming policy, rename Peta Road, Peta's Road. Do I have a mover for that recommendation, please?
Yeah, I'll move that.
Thank you, Member Edmonds, and a seconder. Thank you, Member Gundry. All those in favour?
We have discussion
Did
first.
you, before you start, did you have a discussion and see if Eden provided any advice?
Certainly. Eden,
Oh,
welcome.
Thank you. I'm here to answer any questions if you have them. This application came through in 2021. I started this role last month, so I did want to get the application moving. I will try my best to answer questions. I did ask Desiree if she wanted to be here today to speak to the report, but unfortunately she couldn't be here. But yeah, if you do have any questions, I'm here to try and answer.
I don't know if it's a question, but is it, and I'm not sure what the process might be, but I'm wondering if we could leave it to lie on the table and give all of the people involved time to maybe discuss more with each other, just, yeah, rather than make a decision today. That's my suggestion. I was thinking 2 months.
So are you moving amendments now, or are you just foreshadowing one? So if you foreshadow one, it means that they will vote on the current resolution.
Okay, I'll foreshadow an
But if you want-
amendment to let it lie on the table with a time frame.
Although,
Or if you move it,
point of order
amendment,
here.
then you will vote on that amendment instead of the current.
Point of order, no, that's not an amendment, it's a motion of process. Okay, so I mean, if somebody wishes to lay it on the table, they just simply make the motion to lay it on the table. We discuss that motion, we lay it on the table, it's not an amendment. And if we dispatch this motion, you can't,
Okay.
something that's not on the table can't be interrupted because we will have dispatched it. It doesn't make sense to dispatch with this and then lay it on the table. So either we lay it on the table, and we discuss it later, or we carry on. And that's the motion that Jessie seeks to get clarification on.
So, Member McVeigh, are you putting a motion on the floor to lay that on the table?
I'm just hoping we have discussion around this rather than just straight to a vote.
So are you wanting to lay it on the table? So if you move that,
Then we discuss that.
then we discuss
the
the lying on the table.
Sure, yes, please.
Ka pai, I'll second that motion. Okay, any kōrero around laying that?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think if they brought it here, I think we've got enough information here to make a decision, haven't we? Or are there people in the community that are against us? I mean, it just seems to be a mistake that's promulgated over the years, and they wish now to take it back to what it was.
So the they that we're referring to, there are two names there, a mother and a daughter. I'm just concerned about the kōrero and the communication that's gone on in that Waima area, and that all facets of that community are aware that this is happening. And I think that once, for myself, if I know that people in the community are aware of the recommendation for the name change, and they've had opportunity to discuss it and check out the information in the background that's here, then Katie Pai. That's my thinking.
Yeah, total.
I would like to say that it's very much this whānau says, that whānau says, this whānau says. So I would like to support Jessie and her recommendation, no, her motion, based on the fact it would be great for them to go back as a waira hapu whānau of Mahuriri to discuss openly and come to a decision amongst themselves, then come back with a joint decision saying on a meeting held at Ōtātaro or Tuhiranga or wherever they want to hold the week, come back and say it was decided with all these attenders and thing. It's super. That's what I think needs to happen before we place a decision on something that there's obviously still raru within the hapu or whānau that I'm not comfortable with making the decision to say yes, because it was that, now it's this, and now they want it back again. So I totally your motion. Any further kōrero?
Madam Chair, if I can just make, I feel that there's been some new information come to the table that may be influencing the decision for today. And I wonder whether the motion that Jessie's put on the table could serve for a period. Now, my thinking would be is that if this is to be returned back to the original applicant and so forth, then a time frame be put on there so that it doesn't delay the mahi of the community board. But on those grounds, there has to be some form of documentation come back to the community board so that it gives mana to the decision that's going to be made.
Your motion have a time frame?
I would have put a 2-month time frame, like the end of September meeting would be my suggestion.
How do you do that?
That would mean that Eden would put the report in to come back to be uplifted at the September meeting, that we don't need to include it in the resolution.
Okay. All right, Eden, okay, a mahi for you.
So just have you taken, sorry, through the chairs, have you got the notes of what the board's wanting to see when it comes back in September?
Yeah. Fine. Any last words from you? Yes. Okay, we'll put that motion to a vote. All those in favour? Aye. Those against? Any abstentions? Mike, abstention. Thank you. Kia ora. Moving on to page 37, road naming lot 1919 Wihirua Road or Kaiho. Oh no, it's page 37. Okay, the recommendation is that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board, pursuant to Council's road naming and property addressing policy #2125, name a private road Tukapuia Lane that is currently addressed at lot 1990 Wihirua Road or Kaiho as per map A4790. Do I have a mover for that recommendation?
Yep.
Thank you. Member Edmonds, I'll second that. Do we have any discussion around that? Mike, would you like to talk to that?
No, I think, look, I mean, it's a private road, someone wishes to name it.
Kapai? Okay, all those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against? Any abstentions? Thank you. Moving on to page 48, al fresco dining applications. We have a couple there. Some pretty pictures. Okay, the recommendation is that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board, pursuant to the Council resolution passed on 30th of June 2022, provide comment on the renewal of al fresco dining approval applications from Kaikohe Bakehouse Cafe and a New Era Cafe to assist with the final decision on the renewal applications. Do I have a mover for that recommendation?
Yeah, I do.
Thank you, Member Edmonds. I'll second that. Do we have any discussion around that? No, we'll put that to a vote. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against? Any abstentions? Thank you, that's carried.
Can we provide the comment?
Yes, you may provide some comment.
So isn't that the point of this whole thing, is to provide a comment? Not just to say we'll provide a comment. So, I'm all for it. I mean, what, people on the street, people eating on the street, it's always a good feeling. There's plenty of footpath there. I know this is one of those things that's delegated from the board, but I think this is one of those things that it's just so obvious. That why would we deny people who wish to speak, who wish to dine out, watch the world go by while eating a pie or a coffee, deny them that opportunity.
That photo was a rare photo. Not often do you see the place with nobody sitting outside it.
I suppose, just an observation, it could be your strategy for the cyclists on the street.
Oh.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Can I make
Right
a
on,
comment?
Member McVeigh, you've got a comment.
Just that, I'm just wondering if, just a comment that there's, in Rawene, there's, those chairs are often used for cigarette smokers, and I just wondered if there's any, it's just as somebody who walks along there. I don't know what the rules are, but for me, I think it's awesome to have people eating and drinking coffee on the footpath, and they keep well away, but using them as places for cigarette smoking, I don't know. I think we should be moving away from that kind of thing. That's my opinion.
Away from cigarette smoking, or away from giving people the opportunity to smoke?
To smoke in such a public area. And away from cigarette smoking, yes, I do believe there's a health issue. That is something that is valid.
Thank you for your comment. Total ball. Okay, moving on to...
Hang on, so...
Sorry.
Now we've got to provide comment, right? I mean, I know we've discussed the comment, but what is the comment?
That's the
Well,
comment.
I'm not sure if there's bylaws or we have any influence at all, but we were commenting on the issue.
Yeah, but I mean, we can't, I mean, just because someone said it in this meeting is not a comment. That person.
I believe it is. I believe Jessie's just provided a comment about what she thinks about our fresco dining.
So who's our report writer? Who's that? So the fact that somebody gave an opinion that wasn't necessarily shared by the rest of the meeting is good enough comment to take back to the council?
Madam Chair, I'm not the report writer, I'm the team lead part of managing for the report writer, I'm Michelle Dean. We take into account any comments that come through in regards to, within the report we did have conditions within there, and from comment from the community board we can put other conditions within that report. We can also speak to the operator in regards to perhaps making those tables non-smoking, so that's something that we can recommend to the operator there. So any comment that we do get in relation to the alfresco.
Okay, but that wasn't my question, right? I mean, so you asked for a community board comment. Okay, was it random comments from community board members that may not be shared amongst community board members, or was it a comment from the community board?
Comment from the community board.
And how would you know that it's from the community board and not just something that somebody said at the meeting? It would have to be a resolution to say the community board says that, and they agreed with it, right? We had a motion, we put the motion together, they agreed with it, therefore this is the comment from the community board. Would that be fair? Okay.
So through this year, my understanding is you would like to go back to amend the current resolution to add comments?
It appears
well, not at all, because the previous resolution was that we will provide comment. Okay, now I'm asking us to provide that comment.
Would you like me to add your comments as a note beneath the resolution?
No, why don't we just have a resolution that our comment is this? I mean, we can add, the resolution here said that we will provide comment. The resolution didn't say what the comment was, it just said we will provide comment. Now I'm asking us, how about we honour that resolution to provide comment by providing comment.
Through the chair, do you require a formal comment from the meeting resolution, or?
Well, how would you know it's a comment from the community board if it's not formal?
What's in the recorded meeting?
Because it will be noted that Jessie Member McVeigh said
and,
comment.
Yeah,
and that Mike Edmund said, so it's obvious that it's not the whole community board.
Shall I make a resolution?
Yes,
I would like to make a resolution that I absolutely support alfresco dining in both locations. I put forward, in addition to that, that I would like to see them be non-smoking tables. Is that something? And then we can discuss that as a group, because that is my opinion.
Okay,
I'll second that.
Okay, so the resolution should say the community board wishes that, rather
The
than...
community board wishes that.
Fine, I'll second that. Take it forward. Any discussion?
Yeah, we may feel as though we're the arbiters of standards and morals in this community, but I don't think we are. We've been asked to, I know we've been asked to comment, but look, I mean, if somebody wishes to go out there, and I don't think it's large numbers of people, I think we either we do or we don't. I'm dead against adding anything about smoking in this comment.
Okay. Sorry, Mike, what was it?
I don't think we should have any mention of smoking in this comment that we're giving.
Okay, come on. Can I make a comment? Yes.
Carefully make comment. So we have someone in our, that came in our public forum this morning, and talked about recycling bins. Is there a way that we can include with our fresco dining the recycling bins that have the bottles or the plastic, as they do in other areas outside of these places? Or is it too wider?
Who do you wish to pay for that?
It might be worth adding that into the waste management plan that's up for review, and I've been in other discussions around that, because there'll be a whole new expectations around waste management that might tie into that, rather than the alfresco dining.
Fine. Any further comment about the motion that's on the table? Floor? Where is it? Is it on the floor or the table? I'm not sure.
It can be up to date now.
Being
No.
tabled, yeah.
I just want to I guess protocol Mike's corridor about smoking. My concern is who manages that. Is that the person that's making the coffee that's going to go out and tell that person out there not to smoke? I think the alfresco dining is the essence of the recommendation, and while I understand the concern about smoking, I think that the essence of the recommendation is about alfresco dining and allowing people to socialise in an alfresco setting. I wouldn't go and tell somebody that was overweight not to eat that donut and that pie that they've just eaten, because that's going to damage their health as well. While it doesn't hurt people walking by, I see them in a similar light. So that's my corridor around that. Okay, we need to vote on the motion. Can we hear the motion again, please, Rhonda?
Let the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board support both alfresco dining application and request that a condition be added to the application that the area be a non-smoking area.
Okay.
Okay, so just to foreshadow the same motion without the smoking thing if this fails.
Okay. Do we need a seconder for a foreshadowed motion?
No.
No. Okay, all those in favour of the initial motion, please say aye. Those against? Any abstentions? One abstention.
Okay, so I'll move the same motion without the smoking clause.
Okay, I'll second that. All those in favour? Any against? Any abstentions? 2 abstentions.
For all of the voting on this, would you like your votes recorded?
Yes, please.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're at page 63 now, looking at funding applications.
Hang on.
Are we? No?
Page 57.
Oh, sorry, I've missed the Hokianga Bowling Club. How naughty. Here we go. Oh, that's why, because it's a great big recommendation.
Do we have the report right here? Do we have anybody who can speak to this here?
For the bowling club, Mike?
No, from the council?
What?
No, really not.
No,
from
the reason
council,
is,
sorry.
the reason is they've used specific words, a public consultation process. I just wish to talk about that. I mean, consultation is, while we will be told that putting a notice in the paper and taking objections is the same as the public consultation process, I don't think anybody will take that at face value. With the consultation process and any legislation is defined, whereas in the Reserves Act, as I understand it, all they've got to do is make notice, do a public notice that this is going on, and if anybody wishes to object, they can, and we've got to consider those, but consultation process, I don't think we'll do that.
So we're just through the chair, we've just had Michelle, who is a report writer, join.
Oh, great. Awesome. Kia ora, Michelle.
Kia ora.
Kia ora. Would you like to repeat your comment?
Hey Michelle, you've got the word public consultation process in this report, yet the Reserves Act talks about a notice, a public notice, versus, so what do you have in mind for a public consultation process?
So that public consultation and the public notice is the same thing. So what happens when it's a recreation reserve is that we have to notify the public, clearly. We need to do a newspaper article. So that will run in the newspaper for 4 weeks. It will also go on the FNDC website, which then get published onto the Facebook page as well, I believe. And then we will also be re-notifying any iwi and hapu directly as well.
Okay, so it's my concern here is, well, I don't know that well, I'm all for these people staying here, okay, and to make a big thing of it, where the Reserves Act merely requires public notice, is drawing attention to something that doesn't need to have attention drawn to it.
I agree, but it is part of the Reserves Act that we have to follow.
the reserve, can you give the exact wording of the Reserve Act, please?
I
would you like
don't
me to read
have
it
that.
out? Or would you like me to read it out?
You could read it out, please. I don't have it in front of me.
Okay, okay, so where this Act requires anything to be publicly notified, it's to be published as follows. Where the information, for a notification relates to a national reserve, which is not us, where the notification relates to any other reserve, it shall be published once in a newspaper circulating in the area where the reserve is, and any such newspaper as the administrating body decides. I mean, that's vastly different than what you intend to do.
Yeah, that is the process that we follow here. That's what we've done ever since I've been here. I don't believe there's anything different that we do when it comes down to a reserve.
Okay, so now we've gone from you've gone from a moment ago you said that's what the Reserved Act requires to yes, Mike, you're right, but that's not what we do here. So what is it?
So we are required to do public consultation, and the process that we follow for public.
You're required to put a notice as per the Reserved Act, Part 199.
And that notice we put into the newspaper.
That's what it says.
Yes, so we put the notice in the newspaper.
I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with there being a policy or a procedure, but that's not what you said, right? Okay. You clearly said in the report that the Reserved Act requires, and I just read you the Reserved Act, which requires 2 public notices, one in Rawene and one somewhere else in the Whanau area. Okay, and you've come back and you said, but that's not what we do. So I'm asking you, why and where? Okay, so your report is incorrect. You've given us a false impression. So can you please give us the correct impression?
The public notice we will put into the newspaper. That is a process that we have always followed here when it comes down to a recreation reserve. I can go and clarify this with our legal team, but I believe that is a process we have followed ever since. And then out of goodwill, we notify iwi and hapu, and then we also put it on our website for everyone to see.
Can I just ask, Madam Chair, through you, Mike, you mentioned in the Act, as required, the body requires. Can you just give that?
Oh, the body decides. So any other newspaper, if any, as the administering body decides. Okay, so it requires.
Who's the administrator?
Oh, that's the Whanau District Council.
Right.
Okay, so any other newspaper. So, look, Michelle, I had long discussions and long arguments in the previous council about impressions, incorrect impressions given in reports. Okay, so we can spend hours on merely the phrase best practice. Okay, which comes up now and again in reports, and nobody knows what it was. Sorry. We do know what it means, but it's never the actual definition is never actually honoured by council reports. And here we've got another one, and you've said something. I've asked you why, and you've pointed me to the Reserves Act, which doesn't say that. You get my drift? Okay, so all I'm asking for is if you're going to bring and ask a decision from the community board, okay, then the community board to be given accurate information. Okay, and you haven't given us that.
Okay, I will ensure that it is correct next time.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Member Edmonds.
Further Chair, can I please get a...
Yes. The recommendation is that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board recommends to Council that the public consultation process is commenced on the granting of a new ground lease to Hokianga Bowling Club Incorporated over approximately 2,700.9 square metres of land, being sections 153, 157, 158, 10 of Rawene, located at 61 Clendon East Boulevard, Rawene, and vested in Whanau District Council as Recreation Reserve. The terms of the proposed lease shall be term 15 years, 5 + 5 + 5, allowed for under the Reserves Act 1977. Rental as per FNDC fees and charges schedule for a community lease, $118 plus GIST for 2023-24 and reviewed annually in conjunction with the Whanau District Council fees and charges schedule. B is appointed to hear any submissions received in response to the consultation process and to make recommendations to council. Do I have a mover for that? Thank you, Member McVeigh. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Member Felia.
Okay, and I'd like to make an amendment, please. Okay, replace the word public consultation process with public notice as required by the Reserved Act in A, and B, consultation process be replaced with notice.
So that was
Yeah, so you got to get a second for the
I'll
amendment,
second that.
and we can discuss.
Any discussion?
I've said my bit, you heard me.
No. You've got no more?
No, I don't have any more.
Oh, okay. Any further discussion?
Okay, we then vote on the
Right,
amendment.
sorry,
Can I
Rhonda?
just double check the words that you want to replace in your amendment, Edmonds?
Sorry?
No,
Oh, sorry, replace the words public consultation process with notice as required by the Reserves Act 1977. Okay, that's an A. And B, the consultation process will be replaced by the notice.
Aye. Okay, that's been moved and seconded. All those in favour? Aye. Any against? Any abstentions? Okay, that's carried.
Okay, now we've got to put the motion itself. So that was the amendment. So we just
Now
amended
we
the motion. Now we
Vote on the
whole motion.
substantive.
Yeah.
All those in favour? Any against? No abstentions. Kapai. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, page 7363. We're moving on to funding applications. Okay. Our first recommendation on page 63 is that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board leaves the application from Ottawa Sports Club for basketball and sporting facility upgrades to lie on the table while staff work through the project logistics with the applicant. I have a mover for that recommendation. Thank you, Member Edmonds. I'll second that. All those in favour?
I think the other thing is that they don't have a incorporated society to back this up. So until that's come through, then nobody can consider it.
And through the chair, I have met with them and they're going through all of that, and that's why she's spoken the DIA.
Oh yeah, I understand that.
That's good. Thank you.
Yeah,
voting on that.
Sorry, yes, we're voting on that. All those in favour? Aye. Any against? No. And no abstentions. Kapai. There's a sum of blank and then move second, discuss.
Okay, so if you're going to be doing the blank, then depending on if the mover and seconder is happy with the figure, will depend on
Okay, the second recommendation B is that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board approves the sum of blank to be paid from the board's community fund to Jinnu Josie for Onam 2023 community celebration to support the following community outcomes. Proud, vibrant communities, communities that are healthy, safe, connected and sustainable. Do I have a mover? Thank you, Member McVeigh. A seconder for that? Thank you, Member Felia. Now we can discuss that application. When I read the application, I was looking particularly at the number of people that it would benefit, and off the top of my head, I can remember the figure of around 30.
It was 50 families?
Oh, was it?
50 members.
50
Oh.
members.
Yeah. 50, okay.
15 families.
Oh, 30 is the number of things in your cart.
Through the year, 15 families and
15 families, 50 members, thank you. Where's the- I felt like a figure of around $1,000 was a good figure in my head.
Through the chair, that 15 families, 50 members is how many are in the organisation. What they're planning on doing is having it in the memorial hall for the community to come along. That's what they're doing. It's a community event, so that they can share their culture with the wider community.
Is that clear in the application?
It was further on there, I think.
I don't see that. Okay.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Well, that's the only thing we would
But,
support.
yes,
Yeah.
but is it, so where do the families come from, Catherine?
That's what he'd said to me, and that the intention was to open it up to the community so that they could come in. We may not have put it fully in here, and I may not have picked up on that. That would be my fault.
I think the number they referred to, 50, includes the children.
Yeah, he did. When I was talking with him, he said, yeah, we're having it in the Memorial Hall, and it's to show the community what we do as well. So it wasn't just their small community, it's the equivalent of their matariki.
Do they discuss in the application how they intend to
No, they don't.
let the community know that it's coming up and they're welcome to come?
No, they don't. If that's been the case, then if you're happy with the 1,000, then that would be reasonable, I suspect.
I'm going to go with the 1650. That's my number.
Because when you look at the consumable materials, they've sorted out what they're buying. And to me, it looks like they've sorted out what they're going to buy for
just that group
of people.
I was going on the conversation I'd had with them, so that might be slightly different. My apologies.
Also, they may be getting other, like, because we only fund half, so this is just half of what they anticipate to get.
Perhaps.
Any further discussion?
some clarification. So would Jesse and Tanya happy with the $1,000 that was being discussed? And then we've got the foreshadow.
No, so if you wish to do what you wanted to do at the beginning of the meeting, you simply go around the room and get the numbers, put them in order,
Yes.
count off 4, and that's the number.
Okay.
Hang on, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. Count off 4.
Yes. Okay, so my figure is $1,000.
Mine's, oh, sorry, you want to write them down? Just write them down in order so that you can manage this.
Mike?
1650.
Yeah, 1,000.
Jesse? 1,000. Tanya? 1,000. Trinity?
Yeah, 1,000.
1,000?
4,000, so yeah.
Okay, so we now put the figure in?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, then you just vote on it, done.
$1,000. And do we need to vote? Yes. All those in favour? Aye. Carried. Thank you. Okay, the next recommendation, recommendation C, is that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board approves the request from the Raone Golf Club for an extension of time for their Family Fun Day event to take place no later than 31st of March 2024 due to adverse weather events preventing the event from taking place on the original date.
I'll move that.
Thank you, Member Edmonds. I'll second that. Do we have any discussion? Anybody got any audio around that? what was the original date? Was it this year?
Yes.
Obviously, okay.
Yeah,
All
we
right.
had one of those big storms that
Yes.
came through, right, don't think it was Gabrielle, I think it was just after
Okay.
that. They actually shut the course early for the year.
Fine. All those in favour? Aye, fine. Carried. Recommendation D, that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board directs that the unused balance of $60 granted to the Hokianga Sailing Trust on the 1st of June, Resolution 2022/42, be rescinded and the funds returned to the Board's Community Fund for reallocation.
Okay.
Thank you, Member Edmonds. Seconded by Member McVeigh. All those in favour? Aye.
Yeah, and I'll move E, that the Community Board rescinds the resolution allocating 1650 to Rob Pink for the purchase of installation of sand and redirects it into our placement fund for reallocation.
Aye, thank you, Member Edmonds. I'll second that. All those in favour? Aye. Recommendation F, to rescind the resolution allocating $3,000 towards visual communications and public relations for the work at Memorial Park and direct the funding to be returned to placemaking fund for reallocation. Moved by Member Felia, seconded by myself. All those in favour? Aye. And recommendation G, rescind resolution 2022/59 allocating $1,800 to Ngāpuhi Hokianga Ki Te Raki Society Incorporated as the event applied for did not take place and direct the funding back into our piggy bank. Thank you, Member Edmonds, seconded by Member Felia. All those in favour? Aye.
And I'd like to move that we bring the application for funding for the song back up from our previous meeting to consider.
Through the chair, I've drafted into minutes. That should appear on the screen. Also, I've been provided the advice that the application was for $3,000 and the staff recommendation in the previous report was for that figure.
Okay. We can all read that on the screen. That
I'll move that with the blank. I'll move that with the blank.
With the blank?
All right.
I'll buy it. Somebody like to second that? I will. Any kōrero?
I think it speaks for itself. We do have a P problem here and the Far North and elsewhere to be fair. And given the statements made by the director, so the music directors and so forth, that they believe this has legs, then I'm going to take the opinions of the experts and see where it goes.
What figure, Mike, were you?
I'll go with the 1,500 recommended by staff.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, it was 1,500?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Any further kōrero around that?
Just that, yes, there's a meth problem. Yes, music is a vehicle for healing, particularly probably for the people involved in making it. I support the kaupapa. I just wonder, it's to record the music, which is a beautiful thing, and I guess that would involve distributing it. Yeah, I just don't, there's no kind of measurement of effect.
No, that's right. We won't know until he comes back to report back.
Yeah.
I think it's worth the risk, is my thinking. Yeah,
I was pretty sold on once I heard it.
Yeah.
Come on. Okay, we'll move that motion and Mike's.
Yeah, I'll move it.
You've moved it,
Yeah,
I'll second it.
Yeah.
All those in favour? Aye.
Oh.
Come on. Thank you. Is that the end of our funding?
Yes.
Okay, now we have some information reports on page 83, the Hokianga Ferry Liaison Group. That Member McVeigh attends, correct?
Aye.
Okay. So the recommendation is that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board receives the Hokianga Ferry Liaison Group information report. I'll move that. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Member McVeigh. Any discussion about that report?
We have a report later in the room as well.
We do. We have the report writer in the room. Kia ora.
Hello. Hello.
Aaron. Hi, Aaron.
Come on. Shall I come up? Or,
Join us.
They've got that quiet coming in.
Thank you, Lynn. Thanks.
Kia ora, thanks, Ross. Aaron Riley.
Hello, yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Anything you'd like to mention to us about the report, Aaron?
Not really, it's just an information
Significance?
report, just to keep you updated that we're having these meetings, and we have a meeting scheduled for September, 4th of September. Happy to take any questions.
Okay. No questions? Okay, we'll move that report. If we seconded that report, I forget. Yes, we have. All those in favour? Aye. Any against? No. Kia ora, thanks, Aaron. Second report on page 88 is the, it's not a report. It is. It's the action sheet. So the recommendation is that we note there are no action items for July 2023. I'll move that. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Member Gundry. All those in favour? Aye. Okay. There endeth. Okay, hea koe te karakia whakamatunga Matua Bay?
Tai mātu ki te tunga tēnei hui ngai raro o mō mana ki tama āmene.
Amen. Kia ora everybody.